Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have a crafting summer marathon for you with 38 of the summer DIYs that I've made so far on my channel this year in 2024 using items from the Dollar Tree. So to get started, we're going to start with bee DIYs. We're going to have lots of fun summer themes today, but we're going to start with bee DIYs, a bee tier tray, and then we're also going to have flamingo. We're going to have luau DIYs, all kinds of fun stuff to celebrate summer. Now this is one of the little bee wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. I have no idea why they make these red, so I'm going to take mine outside and give it a quick spray paint with some black spray paint because I don't want to have to worry about that red showing through in the final product. I mean, it should be black. And I like to leave the antennas just wire, so I need those to be black for sure. So I sprayed the front and the back of it, and we're going to start decorating this. I've made one of these before here on my channel, and I wanted to see if I could do a different version of it since they brought these back again this year. So I was thinking I wanted to do like a fuzzy bumblebee, and I think I was able to pull it off. So let me show you how I put it all together. First, just making sure I had all of my paint dry, and these are the materials that I'm going to use to kind of DIY this. I found a great fuzzy fabric at the Dollar Tree that I think is going to be great for the bumblebee. Then for the stripes, I thought I would use some of the black faux leather from the Dollar Tree. I thought that would be easy to cut like straight stripes, and it's going to provide like another texture for the piece as well. And then I'm going to use shelf liner for the wings. So first I'm starting with the head. I thought since I had the black leather, I would go ahead and do the head in that one. So I am just laying the head right on top of the leather and just using a Sharpie to kind of sketch out where the head is on the back of the leather. And I love this faux leather from the Dollar Tree. It's so easy to craft with because it's just super easy to cut and you don't have to worry about fraying or anything like that. So I'm just cutting it along those lines. I want everything to be a little bit bigger than what I need so that I can attach it to the bottom of the wreath form and it can kind of peek out on the other side. So I'm going to start with a little bee head. It looks like I cut it really well, so I can go ahead and start gluing this. I'm just going to do like half of it at a time with hot glue, making sure that is down, and then doing the other side as well. I want to cover everything with the materials from the back, and then I will come from the front and cover all of the wires too, except again for the antennae. But I did kind of need them to be black, because I'm going to use a lot of black and gold on this bee, and that red would have really clashed. Now this is the fabric that I found at Dollar Tree. I was so excited. I've never seen this at Dollar Tree before. It's like a fuzzy golden material, and I thought this would be perfect to make this guy look like a bumblebee. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay it like fuzzy side down, laying my wreath form on top. And I'm going to sketch out like the body of the bee. And the material kind of gives a little bit, so I was kind of having to hold the wire wreath form down on it. I can go about halfway here because that has like a double wire on the wings. And then I'm going to cut that down to size. Now I end up actually using this fuzzy material too for the head. I end up switching it later on just because I had a lot of black going on the bee and I wanted just a little bit more of golden, and I just love this fuzzy fabric. It's so cute. I found lots of new fabrics that I've never seen at Dollar Tree before, and we're going to be using a lot of them today. So that is the perfect size for the bee body. slightly overlapping the little stinger down here and the sides. So I'm just going to attach this with hot glue from the back. So everything is still kind of upside down. And then kind of glue it here to the wings as well. And then go up and I'm going to slightly overlap that with like the bee head, just hot gluing everything down. Now I'm going to be using this bee wreath form and also the beehive wreath form like later on in this video. They're probably my most time consuming projects that I was working on today, but man, I really love how they turned out. And I use these for wall hangings. I don't really use them for wreaths, but I guess you always could. They're a little small for wreaths in my opinion. Now, and this was my original plan, was to use the black leather for the stripes. So I'm going to cut out the rest of that rectangle that I had left. And then I thought the best way to cut it would be to use my like Cricut paper cutter to get perfectly square lines. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure my rectangle is square. And then I am just going to cut, I think I did like 1/2-inch stripes, and I ended up needing a total of 3 of those. I don't want to go too crazy, but I want to have stripes like go up the body of the bee. So I'm going to need like a larger one down here, and I'm going to go ahead and attach that. Do make sure you get it on there. This is straight. When you're working kind of fast with the hot glue, sometimes you can get carried away, but that looks good. I'm also going to glue it down to that fuzzy material as well so it doesn't like bow out at all. I want it to lay flat. And then I'm going to cut my other stripes down to size. So I ended up actually only needing 2 because I was able to reuse this piece. It's pretty skinny up here at the top part of the bee. Then I'm just going to kind of trim off the excess leather. And I'm also going to kind of trim off the excess like fuzzy fabric that's kind of sticking over the edge and make sure everything is down. And once I get these on, then we can start working on the wings. I have a really fun idea using some of that shelf liner from the Dollar Tree. I thought we could make some wings that were kind of transparent, like bee wings would be. Something that you could see through, but something that's going to coordinate well with the gold and the black and the bumblebee. So I picked up just the regular shelf liner. I always like to walk around the other aisles of Dollar Tree to see what other materials I can use for craft materials, and you can often find stuff like this that can have another use. So I thought it kind of reminded me of a screen, right? So I thought that would be a fun like transparent wing, something that you could see through. So I think that's going to work. So again, I'm just going to have to lay the bee wreath form on top of it, and I'm going to sketch out like the size of the wing, but it is black, so it's kind of hard to draw on that where you can see it, right? So I'm just using my white paint pen, and I'm just going to sketch it out in between the 2 wires. That way I can make it a little bit bigger than the inner one, but I don't want to make it too big that it hangs over the edges of the bee. So basically 2 heart shapes, and the paint pen actually worked pretty well for that. So now we're going to cut those out, and we'll have like basically all of the bee covered with the fabric, and then we can start decorating the front of the bee. I had so much fun making these DIYs. I do bees every year on my channel. They always seem to do really well. Hopefully this video will do well too. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. That always helps it do better. It's been very slow on my channel, so I'm anxiously awaiting Shore Living whenever it decides to show up in my stores. I feel like a crazy person going to Dollar Tree every day at this point. So I'm going to start here at the center or the bottom of the heart shape or the wing shape, and I'm just going to do one section at a time, gluing that shelf liner down. And I was surprised at how well that material held up to that hot glue. It didn't seem to melt at all. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, just at a section at a time, and just kind of making sure I got it on right. Now, I went back and forth about what kind of material I wanted to use to cover the wires on the front. Dollar Tree has rope, but they have it in like brown rope. They have it in white rope. And I didn't really think I wanted to do either one of those. So I will show you what I ended up doing using another product from the Dollar Tree. I think the wings look pretty good, and this is what we're going to use, the black macrame cord. So they have this in colors, including black. So I thought I could make my own rope by braiding the macrame cord. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to use that to cover all of the wire wreath form. So I'm gonna do like about 4 feet of the rope, and I'm gonna cut out like 3 pieces of it. And then I'm just gonna tie the end of that into a knot, and I need to attach it to something so that I can pull on it and braid it. And I can't really tape down to my work surface here because it's silicone and not even duct tape. Nothing will stick to this stuff. And so I'll show you what I ended up using to kind of work around that. And I ended up having to make like 4 different ropes. I'm going to show you the first one that I made here. So I'm just going to take a block of wood. That can serve a couple purposes. You'll see here in a minute. And I'm just going to use my staple gun to attach that so I can pull on that, braid it, no big deal. So I'm going to start braiding it. Now, you can braid a section, but as you can see, when you're working with really long pieces of the macrame cord like that, it is going to get tangled up. So you do have to take breaks and kind of untangle as you go. But the board works great because you can just flip it like that and kind of keep the tension on it and keep everything untangled. And as you can see, I'm just braiding like you would braid hair, 3 pieces. It's going to give me a flat rope. Which is going to be plenty wide enough to cover up the wire wreath form and all of like the seams and everything I have going on where I've attached the other fabric. So I just keep braiding this until I get all the way to the end, and then I just tie a knot on it too, just so it won't become unbraided until I can work with it. So the board trick definitely works for that, especially if you don't have something you can attach it to. But I thought this was a good way to do a black rope. I know you can paint the rope, but it doesn't always turn out with like very good coverage. So I thought that this was a fun idea. I'm going to start like here at the bottom underneath the wing and just start hot gluing that on. As you can see, I want it to cover like any fabric that might stick out from the sides and cover up everything, cover up the wire. And whenever you're working with like this like flat macrame rope, it's really easy to go around like even sharp angles like that. You can even kind of reverse direction, bend it back. You can do all kinds of different things with it. And so I'm going to do the bottom of the bee like this. And then I'm going to continue that same piece just to kind of make less seams. And I'm going to keep using it until I can't use it anymore. So I'm doing like the outer wire of the wing. I will have to double up the wings because the wings have 2 wires. It's kind of inevitable. I kind of wish that it had 1 wire. It would make it a little bit easier, I think. But I'm going to keep that one going. I can go all the way around the outer rope and the bottom of the bee with that 1 piece of macrame rope that I made. I am cutting them off. I'm not like leaving the knots on them or anything like that. I'm just kind of leaving those on there until I can get like my ends glued down. And once I get them glued down like that, it shouldn't be any problem like not unraveling or unbraiding. So this is my second rope that I braided. And I'm going to do the inner wing of this side so we can finish up this side of the bee wreath form. The pointy part here in between the 2 wings, you do have to kind of get it tight to try to cover up everything. I put the hot glue on there and then kind of squeeze it together to try to cover up as much space as possible. But then again, I'm just covering up the wire on this one, and I want it to be as close as I can get it to the other one so there's really not like much of a gap in between the 2 different wires, the 2 different braids. So I have some left over here. I should have enough for the head on this rope. So I'm going to go ahead and just start kind of where the wing is because everything kind of overlaps there, so I don't need it to go all the way down. And I'm just going to do the top part of the head, gluing that down. And then I have another rope here. I'm going to just cut my knot off of it. I'm going to start it on the neck there where I can finish off the head. And then I'm going to continue that same piece down and go around the wing as well. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't have like any like visible hot glue or anything on the top of the macrame rope. So I'm trying to be careful with that. If I see it, I clean it up with my heat gun as fast as I can. So that rope got me about that far. I didn't make that one quite as long. So I'm going to have to do a fourth rope that I braided, and then I do the inner wing with that one. Again, I have to kind of go around this crazy corner up here, and I just pinched everything together to cover that up. One thing I love about how this bee wreath turned out is all of the fun textures. Like we've got like these great see-through wings. We've got the fuzzy bumblebee. We got the leather stripes. It was so fun to do this one, but it was a little time consuming. Once I got that wing covered, I'm going to again cut off the rest of it. And this is what it looks like at this point. I can just use the antenna to hang it. That's when I decided it was a little too dark. So I'm going to pop off the leather for the head and replace it with some more of that fuzzy golden fabric to brighten it up a little bit, because I had a lot of black going on between the black rope, the black wings, and the black head. So just using my heat gun, I'm carefully popping off the leather. I'm going to use that as a template to cut out the fuzzy gold fabric. I'm really glad I did it. I think it's so much cuter now with a little fuzzy bumblebee head. So just cutting that piece down to size. Then I've already got like the braided rope on the front. I just have to kind of replace this here on the back. No big deal. I just attach it with hot glue. And I even thought about like maybe making a back on that and kind of stuffing the head a little bit so it's stuck out a little bit. But I decided the fuzziness was good enough of a texture. And this is how it turned out. I think it's so pretty. I'm just going to kind of clean up that black macrame rope, kind of picks up any of that fuzzy material. And just make sure I have everything cleaned up. And then again, I don't need a hanger because I can just hang it from one of the little bee antennas. But this is how it turned out. I think the shelf liner for the wings is just a really fun idea. And here on a photo, you can really see the fuzziness of that material. I think that was a really fun choice. If you can't find that one, any kind of gold or yellow fabric would be really good as well. But if you can find it, I think it really did add a special touch to my little bee. Hey guys, if you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, the next DIY, I picked up this hexagon frame at the Dollar Tree because it looks like a honeycomb. And I thought we could do something fun with this. So it's like a plastic black frame, and that's really all I want. I don't need anything else. And then I want to use some of the Dollar Tree cardstock. I'm going to choose the yellow piece that you see there. And we can cut like honeycombs to go inside that honeycomb shape, right? So I'm going to use my Cricut. I designed an SVG file, and I will share that in the description below this video. And I wanted to see if my Cricut could cut out a good honeycomb pattern, and we could kind of have this open without a back or anything like that. And I was pleasantly surprised with how well it did. So I'm just going to lift the cardstock off my cutting mat, and look at this great honeycomb pattern it cut out. I made sure to do it a little bit thicker so I didn't have to worry about tiny lines breaking or anything in between. But I made sure to make it large enough. I think I did 9 by 9 to make sure that it is large enough to cover this entire frame. So now we're going to kind of dismantle this. It does have a back on it, and it also has like glass and all kinds of stuff in here. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of all of this because I want it to be like see-through with the honeycomb. I thought that'd be really cute. Now it does have these like little levers that keep the back on, which kind of get in the way for me. I don't really need that. So I'm just going to go ahead, remove the screw on each one of those and take those out, leaving me with just a plain black frame. I'm going to kind of maybe put it on it at a diagonal like that, just for a little bit of fun. And I just laid the frame on top, and I'm going to kind of sketch out where I need to cut this with a pencil all the way around. And I did have a little bit of trouble since like the plastic frame is kind of all open in the back, but I'll show you what I did to kind of make this fit in there. I've always wanted to do kind of like a cutout like this. I see a lot of DIYs made with that, with not necessarily like honeycombs, but like intricate detail shapes like this, where you can kind of make a project kind of see-through. And I'm really glad I tried it because it turned out pretty cool. Now I cut it the size of the frame, so it doesn't necessarily fit in there, especially with all of the areas that held the screws for those little clips. So I'm going to line it up the best I can, and then I can just go in there and kind of trim it up to size to make sure it fits down inside the frame. I want like the front of the black frame to be on the front of the piece, and I want this honeycomb to kind of be on the back, making it a see-through project. So I just trimmed it all the way around until it fits down in there. Now the next thing, I thought it was going to be kind of hard to glue it on with just the like little pieces overlapping. I thought if I added like some walls, it would add a little bit more stability. So I'm going to take whatever yellow cardstock I had left over, and I'm going to make some skinny strips to frame it out. Only, I think I did 1/4 of an inch, so really skinny strips, because I don't want you to be able to see it on the front of the project. I want it to be able to hide here in the side of the frames. And so I'm just going to kind of cut those down to size. I can get 2 out of 1 strip, and I'm going to do that all the way around. Then I can attach that to the honeycomb that we cut out of the cardstock, and it's going to be a little bit easier to glue in place, I think. So again, I cut out 6 of those, and then since it's paper, I thought a like just regular like school glue stick would work to kind of attach these together. So I just put some of that school glue on the strip, and I lay that right on top of the honeycomb pattern, leaving it in the frame so I know exactly where to put it to kind of work around those little screw holes there for the braces. And then I can have something a little bit more substantial that I can then glue to the frame. So once I have that set up, I thought hot glue would probably work okay since I have like the borders now. So I'm just going to use some hot glue and glue each side down by kind of gluing it on the inside edge of the plastic frame, because I don't really want any hot glue to be visible around the edges. So I just try to get it right there on that strip, because it doesn't quite go deep enough to go down in the grooves of the plastic because it's kind of wide open, which is one reason I wasn't sure I was going to be able to attach this. But this definitely worked well. I'm going to do that all the way around until we have our little honeycomb in place. Now, I kind of want this to be like a standalone decoration. The frame is not wide enough to stand it on its own, so I am going to have to make a base for it. And I want something that's going to kind of blend into the black frame. So I'm just going to use a little piece of scrap wood that I have left over from something. I don't even know what. And I'm just going to cut down a little piece of that. And it's going to provide me a nice heavy base for the bottom of our honeycomb. So I just went to my saw and cut that down to size. And I'm going to sand off any splinters or loose pieces to give me just a wood block. Now I do want it to blend in with the black plastic, and so I'm going to paint it with some black acrylic paint, and I'm just going to go over the top, the front, the back, and the sides, anything that's visible with that black paint. And one coat, I went a little heavy on it, so one coat is definitely going to be enough on this one. And then I have a few ideas of how we can decorate like the honeycomb cells as well. So once I get this dry, it took me a minute because I put so much paint on it. I also want to decorate the little honeycombs. So I have some of these bees left over last year from Michael's. They're kind of broken. Some of them are missing wings and stuff like that. They're super cute though. I'll try to give you a close-up view because I think it would be fairly easy to DIY with some string painted yellow and black and some wire for the antenna and the legs. But look how cute these are. I did see some people making DIY bees like this with the little carrots, the string carrots from the Easter aisle painted like a bee. So that's an option you could do to kind of get a similar style of bee. But I had these and they're kind of broken, so I thought I would just kind of use some of them. This one had a broken off wing. The top one there is like completely missing wings from the other side. I did use these last year for my bee coffee bar. So I'm just going to choose like 2 of those, and they're pretty lightweight. So I can attach them to that cardstock, and I just glue some of their feet in place. That kind of overlaps with the honeycomb. And I'm going to do a second one. This one was not broken, so it was ready to go. But I thought these were really cute. Now, normally I get like the little wooden bees from the Dollar Tree, but this year I didn't see them at any of mine. Did you guys see them this year, the little tiny bees? I don't know if I didn't have any luck or if they just didn't have them this year, but I do need some mini bees on some DIYs today, and I kind of made them from scratch. They turned out pretty cute. So I think 2 bees is enough for this, and now we can go ahead and put it all together. I'm just going to put a bead of hot glue on the bottom of the plastic frame and sit it in the middle of our wood block that we painted black, and that's all there is to it. I think it's really cute. I love like the cutout design like that. So definitely we'll share the Cricut file for you if you want to try to recreate. And that yellow cardstock, again, is just from the Dollar Tree. So that is an inexpensive option as well. This is how it turned out. I think it's really colorful. I like the fact that that frame was already black, so I didn't have to worry about painting that. And it definitely goes with the colors that we were going for there, the gold and the black. Very sweet. I love it. Now the next DIY, I wanted to make like a bee skep vase with grass in it. So I'm using one of these black plastic vases from the Dollar Tree. And I thought we could wrap it with Dollar Tree rope to make it look like a bee skep. So this is the rope that I'm using. This is the skinnier, longer brown rope from the Dollar Tree. And I want to wrap the entire vase with that. And I'm going to do that by starting at the bottom. So I just cut the plastic off and I just hot glue as close to the bottom as I can get. I'm not going to do the very bottom of the vase. I just want to go all the way to the edge. And then I glue that in place all the way around. And then I'm going to keep using that same piece of rope to keep wrapping it around. When you're kind of going up at this point, you don't need any glue. All you have to do is wrap it, and that's what I'm doing, trying to keep my rope tight together so that I don't have any gaps so you can't see the black through. And then I'm just going to glue down the end. That's how far one package got me. And then I can just start a new package. I did have to start and stop 3 times. And so, or I used 3 ropes. So I have multiple seams. I just made sure that all of my seams were on the back of the vase, so they were all like on the same side. Now I found when I was working up on this one, going up the round shape, I did have to hot glue these to keep these in place, so that took me a little bit longer. And I'm just hot gluing it, pinching it together, try to make sure that you can't see any of the black through. And we're going to fill this up with that Dollar Tree onion grass and decorate it to make it look like a little bee skep or a beehive. And I love the shape for it. I think this is a really interesting shape to try. So I'm running out of rope. I'm going to make sure that I kind of cut it where it will end on that same side, so all of my seams will be hidden back here on the back of my vase. So definitely takes a lot of rope when you wrap a project like this. This is my 3rd package of that thinner rope from the Dollar Tree. And again, I'm just going to cut the tape off of it and start again. And I hot glue that in place, and I'm kind of going up again, so I'm not needing to glue it in place like I did before until I start getting here around the rim. I have to start gluing it in place because I don't want it to slip off the end. I want it to stay tight. And I'm just kind of going around until I cover up all of the plastic. This vase comes in black or white. You're not going to be able to see the inside of it, so it doesn't really matter which one you get. And I'm just going to kind of overlap it a little bit there, just to cover up the very top and cut off the rest of the rope, gluing that end down so it kind of blends in with the top of the vase. Now, Dollar Tree rope is notoriously like a fuzzy. It's kind of got some crazy pieces sticking out of it. So next up, I just take one of the long lighters and we're just going to go over it and burn off all the fuzzies and try to clean it up a little bit. But it looks pretty cool as just a vase, right? Now, when I dress it up and kind of make it look like a bee skep, it makes it look even cooler. So burning off all the fuzzies, if I have any kind of weird like sticks sticking out, I try to trim those off as well. And I think that looks a lot better. Now to fill it up, it's going to be super easy. I'm going to use some of that Dollar Tree onion grass and just kind of stick that in there. But first, I wanted to decorate it to make it look like a bee skep. So I just took my black paint pen and I'm just sketching out a simple circle here on the front. Once I got it sketched out, then I can kind of go in with some black paint. I'm using some chalk paint, but you could use acrylic, just kind of whatever you have. And I'm just going to fill in my circle to make a nice, bold, black spot on the front of it for a little hole for the bees. And this is what Dollar Tree rope looks like painted. I mean, you can do it, but as you can see, you have to use a brush to try to get down in between the individual ropes and all the fibers and everything like that. And I'm just going to kind of touch it up, try to make it look like a circle the best that I can. And then for bees, I was brainstorming a way to make little bees. And I remembered I have some of these yellow pom-poms garland from the Dollar Tree, so I'm going to try it with those. I just cut off one of the little mini pom-poms and rolled it into between my hands to kind of make it like a oval shape. And then I'm going to take some of the black wire from the hardware aisle at Dollar Tree, and I thought I could wrap that around the yellow pom-pom to make like little black stripes, and I could also use it for an antenna, right? So I start here at one end of my pom-pom. This helps it keep that longer shape too instead of the circle. And I wrap that around a couple times to give like 3 stripes for the bee. And then I'm going to leave a little tail on there for one of the antennae. And then I'll have to cut off another little piece to make a second antennae for the front of the bee. And I am going to make wings in just a second, but this is like basically the body of the bee. And so I'm going to go ahead and attach it now. I can always add the wings later. Just trying to make sure everything looks good. I think that looks pretty good for a DIY bee. And I'm going to glue it right here kind of near the opening. And I really like how that turned out, so I'm going to try making another one. So if you were not able to find the little bees from the Dollar Tree this year as well, this is an option if you have some of this pom-pom garland. I love this pom-pom garland. I think I have it like in every color from the Dollar Tree because there's always so many things you can do with it. So for the second one, I did the same thing. I tried to make it kind of longer, wrapped it with that wire 3 times for 3 stripes, left one piece for the antennae, and then I cut another piece down for the other antennae and kind of wrapped that around the wire, making it kind of stick out of the head, just like the other one. We can glue that here on the other side. Like this one might not be going in the beehive, but the other one's probably going to. Now, I was trying to think of something fun I could use to make little tiny bee wings. And I remembered I had this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It's kind of like a, I don't know how to explain it, kind of like a snake skin. I thought like the fun texture on it would make it look like a texture or veining of a bee wing. So I'm just going to cut off a little piece. And basically a bee wing is just shaped like a heart. So I'm just going to use an ink pen and cut out some heart shapes here, all about the same size on the fabric with the veining, kind of avoiding the pattern that was on there. And then just cutting those little wings out. I kind of did two smaller ones, two like larger ones without really meaning to, but I'll just pair those up with the small ones on one bee and the little bit larger ones on the other bee. So kind of a teeny miniature, like a little project there, but I was really happy with how it turned out. It was really cute and a lot cuter than just skipping the bee, right? So I just do a little dot of hot glue on the back of my bee, and then I'm just going to sit the tip of the wing in it right here on the back. They're cute without the wings, but I think the wings really make them special, make them really look like little bees. I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side. A dot of hot glue for each wing, just kind of making sure they are like right across from each other and sticking straight up. Doesn't that look so cute? I mean, you could always add more bees if you wanted to go crazy, but I think 2 bees is enough for this. But I absolutely love how this Dollar Tree vase turned out. It's such a fun, interesting shape for like a bee skep. And it's practical because I can now put greenery in there and have like a floral piece. This is the onion grass I'm using. I'm just using the plain onion grass. If you can only find like the ones with like butterflies or eggs in them, you could totally use that as well, just kind of removing the extra stuff. But I had 3 of these. Now, they didn't sit in there too well because I don't really have like any foam or anything like that in the vase. So I decided to add just some Dollar Tree sand to the bottom just to help me be able to stand those up a little bit better and make sure they're not like kind of flopping all over the place. Because it is a pretty big vase, as you can see. So there it is, 3 of the onion grass and our little bee skep vase. I think it turned out really cute. So let me give you a little preview. I thought the idea of the onion grass would be really cute. The grass kind of reminds me of bees. And the vase looks like a bee skep. Really creative and fun. A really simple DIY as well, but look how cute that is for summer. As I promised you guys we would be doing the beehive wreath today too. I have done this one before with burlap, the burlap with flowers on it and rope on the front. Now for this one, I kind of wanted it to not be the full beehive, so I'm just going to use my pliers and pull off the bottom to kind of make it look like a beehive with like a flatter bottom than just the longer beehive. Just personal preference, but I kind of like how it turned out. I just wanted something a little different than the one that I made before. Now, I found some more great fabric at Dollar Tree today. This is fuzzy too, but it is velour. They had this velour in all different colors. I got a whole bunch. Even for like Christmas, I got like reds and greens and blues. I loved it. And then I also picked up one of the yellow aprons just because I needed some yellow fabric for the back of this. What I want to do is kind of make like a little pillow that I can stuff that'll make like that velour fabric kind of come up in between each layer of the beehive and make it look more 3D. So I just lay my beehive on top of the apron and I just cut this down to size. Now, I thought fabric would be the best for the back of the pillow. I did find that the stuffing kind of went out that direction as well. So if I had this to do again, I might replace this fabric here with cardboard because it would be something that you could still cut, but it wouldn't be quite as giving as the fabric with the stuffing that I kind of wanted to go the other direction. But I was able to make it work. So I cut that out. That's going to be the back of the pillow. That looks good. And then I'm going to cut out the velour. The velour is going to be the front of the pillow and what's coming through that wreath form. And look how pretty this fabric is. I'm so glad they're carrying all these new fabric products at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to use the apron that I cut down for reference to cut this out. I want to kind of leave a little bit of room in between because I want to be able to cut all of my Sharpie off here. I don't want any of that to be visible on the final product. So I drew it next to it, but definitely not right on it. So I can then just cut all of that off and have the front part for it. So that's what we're cutting down now. We're just going to cut down the velour to size. And it's a great color. I thought this was a really great color for a beehive. If you like, we're doing like a kid's room or something like that with like Winnie the Pooh, this would be super cute for that. Kind of reminded me of that. My son had a Winnie the Pooh themed playroom when he was little, and I had a lot of fun decorating that with Winnie the Pooh. Definitely a classic. And so just cutting all of that velour down to size. So now we have the two pieces, we can kind of build the pillow. The reason I wanted to do the pillow again is to make it look more 3D from the front so that I can actually stuff it. I want the material to come up in between those different pieces like a honeycomb shape. So I'm just going to start like a no-sew method, hot gluing it. I do actually have to end up doing some sewing on this project though. You guys know how much I hate sewing. But I couldn't think of any other way to make it work. But I'm going to glue most of it closed. I'm only going to leave open like half of the bottom for stuffing. So I'm going to leave up the bottom part right there. And Dollar Tree carries polyfill now, so that's a fun find. I'm just going to take some polyfill and I'm going to stuff it. Nothing crazy, just kind of like medium thickness. I probably could have stuffed it more, but I kind of wanted it to be flat, so I'm just kind of putting one piece in at a time, trying to make sure that no area really gets stuffed more than the other. And that looks pretty good. Now, I was concerned about how I was going to attach the wire wreath form to the velour once I got it closed up like that. I just glued it shut, and I didn't really think that I was going to be able to hot glue it in place. As you can see, once I stuffed it, kind of made it a little smaller than the wreath form, so I kind of needed to do something a little bit heavier duty. So, got to break out one of those giant needles from the crafter square at Dollar Tree, and we're actually going to have to sew because I couldn't really think of any other ways to attach it. So if you're going to stuff yours too, you might want to make it a little oversized, and that way you could hot glue the wreath form down onto it better. But I'm going to go ahead and attempt to sew. I'm going to do a really loose stitch all the way around and just something to kind of keep it all together. And it actually worked, even though I didn't want to sew. So this took me a little bit of time, so I'm going to put this on super, super fast speed. But basically, as you can see, I'm doing a very loose stitch all the way around. I mean, sometimes like maybe even an inch between stitches, with like the excess string just being on the back of it, so I don't really have to worry about any of that being visible. And I am just sewing the pillow to the wreath form. This worked out pretty well. That way it stays tight to the edges. Then I can kind of go in, and I'm going to cover the wires on the front, so I'll be able to cover up like any stitching or anything like that. So again, just going all the way around. I do want it to be puffy though, like in the middle. And so once I get the edges sewed on, I also sew the middle bars too, to kind of make it, give it that puffy appearance. It's going to kind of pull the wreath form down in between each one of the segments. So it wasn't too thick of a pillow, so it was pretty easy to do that. And again, I'm just doing a very loose stitch, like every inch, and just leaving the excess string there on the back. And I'm going to do that all the way up. I don't really care too much what the back of it looks like because you're not going to be able to see it. But I was glad that I did like the pillow fluffy shape on it, because usually these are super flat and I think that they should look bumpy like that. That was my goal. Now for the wire we're going to cover up with Dollar Tree rope. I'm actually going to use two different kinds. I'm going to use this larger brown rope from the Dollar Tree to go all the way around the edges of the beehive. That way it can kind of cover up that large seam that I have. I thought the skinnier rope was not going to be large enough. So I'm going to start right here on the bottom of our beehive. And I'm just going to hot glue this one section at a time and glue that all the way around. Then when I'm going to go in and do the middle sections too, but that one I'm going to do with the Dollar Tree thinner brown rope because I don't want to take away too much from that velour beehive. It turned out so cute. So my goal here is to cover the wire and also cover the stitching. So I'm kind of going just to the edge because I really have to cover a lot of stitching here. And that white thread, I don't want you to be able to see that. And that is the outer edges. And again, we're going to do the inner part of it too. I want to decorate it as well, kind of make it look like a beehive. Again, I'm using this one for a wall hanging, not necessarily like an outdoor wreath. I don't know how well this beautiful velour would do outside unless you had kind of a well-protected porch. So on these, I kind of have to do individual pieces. So each row I'm going to have to cut down to size. But I'm glad that I did the thinner rope on this because I don't really need much more. All I have to do is cover up the wire, and the stitching isn't super obvious on this one because I just stitched the wire down through the pillow. And we're going to do the same thing here with the other 3 pieces until it is framed out. Now I wanted to have like a hole for the front of it. You know, a hole for the beehive, for the bees to go in and out. And I was trying to decide if I should add like black fabric, but I actually ended up doing it with that same rope that we just used. I'm just going to start here and form a circle with it, hot gluing that to the velour in this little second section. And then I can just spiral that along. I do have to kind of hot glue it all down to make sure it stays in place, until I get to the center, cutting it down to size and gluing that point down. Now I did notice that it kind of wanted to stick up, especially since that area was stuffed. So I did take that same needle and thread, kind of tack that down as well, sewing that in so it kind of goes, you know, back kind of like a button sewed in to the pillow. And then I was trying to think of what I could use to make a bee for a beehive this big. I mean, it is pretty large, and I'm actually going to use a toy from the Dollar Tree. So while I have the rope out, I am going to go ahead and make a simple hanger for a beehive. I'm just going to cut a piece of the rope down to make a simple loop like that I can put on the top. I do want this to hang like straight up and down, especially since I made like the bottom of it flat by removing part of the wreath form. And I just attached that to that yellow fabric on the back that used to be an apron. And that should be a plenty good hanger. Now, this is the toy that I was talking about from Dollar Tree. There's their toy bees. And I thought this would be a really good scale for this since it's such a large beehive. But I want to give it a little makeover. I'm not too crazy with the way they paint these. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my heat gun to try to remove these wings. They're really kind of in there because I don't want to get any paint on those. So I want to go ahead and get those out of the way. I have painted these like really realistic before. This is going to be kind of an easier version. I like the yellow and black bee tail here with the stripes. So I don't want to change anything there. So I just tape that off with some painter's tape. I'm not too worried about the underside of this one because you're not going to be able to see it. So I'm only going to paint the top, but I definitely wanted to protect that section. And then I kind of wanted to paint everything black, like black legs, black antenna. I know bees have black heads. So we're going to use just black spray paint. You could also use like black acrylic. The great thing about these is they have like a texture on them. And so you can kind of really get a realistic look if you wanted that. I just kind of wanted a quick, easy one. So I just sprayed it down with some of that black spray paint. And that does say it works on plastic, so it should work well on this little plastic toy. It didn't want to dry too quickly though. I don't know if it was the spray paint or maybe I used a lot of it. But I'm going to go ahead and remove the painter's tape from the tail. And I like the way it looks better now with all of that painted black. So just kind of cleaning up any kind of bleeding that I had there from the painter's tape. And I'm going to finish drying this bee so we can attach it to the wreath form. Can't forget to reattach the wings. I had to make sure which way they went when I took them off so I could put them back on the same way. I'm not going to glue them in place. There's kind of enough tension keeping those in. I think that that's going to make it work. And then we can attach that to our little fuzzy beehive with the velour. That's what I was trying to think of, the velour. And I'm going to kind of have it to the side of the opening, kind of like that. I think that looks good. And I'm just going to attach it to the velour with some hot glue, kind of pushing that down in there. Just like that. And I think that's a really fun detail. Anytime I can add like a bee to a beehive, I'm going to love that. And then I like it. I thought it needed just a little bit something more, something that would go with like the bee theme. So I decided to add a flower. This is the Cosmos from the Dollar Tree. It is a big white flower with a yellow center. I thought this would look really cute with the colors that we have going on, and a bee definitely goes, or a flower definitely goes with the bee theme. So I just kind of hot glued that on that second section up against the rope. Nothing crazy, but I think that's the perfect final step to this little pillow beehive. I really love the velour, almost as much as I love that fuzzy fabric that we used for the bee wreath. Super fun textures, and the little toy bee looks pretty good on there as well. And as you can see, the texture on the bee, they're really kind of cool. But, you know, like any Dollar Tree toy, they're going to look a little bit better when you paint them. Okay, the next project, I found these cute little bee signs at the Dollar Tree. The only problem are that they are small, right? So I thought I could take 3 of them, put them together, try to make it a little bit more substantial. So just using a pair of pliers, we're just going to remove the rope from the back. So we have be nice, be kind, and let it be. Now, I don't want to cover up that cool like wood burning on them. I want to be able to use that to paint it. So I made just a really watered down yellow acrylic, and we're just going to kind of whitewash these with that thinned out paint. I'm going over everything, and as you can see, you can still see that wood burn through there. I just kind of wiping off the excess there with a paper towel. And I was trying to decide if I was just going to leave like the wood burn kind of look on there. And you totally could do that, or if I wanted to paint it. I thought it ended up being a little plain, and so I did end up painting everything that I could see stamped on there black to kind of give me that yellow and black color scheme. So doing that same whitewash on all of these. And I want good coverage, but I think that's probably going to be enough for right now. I can always add more later. Now, I started with a black paint pen, and it worked. The only problem was, I don't know why my paint pen, maybe because I was using a fine tip, it was kind of like splattering and getting little specks of black paint all over it. So I'm just going to kind of remove that. I used a wet wipe and then some cleaner to try to remove that paint on there. And I'm going to try a different method to make those black just because I didn't want the spatter on there. So I tried to clean that up. give it another couple coats of that yellow whitewash to kind of cover up the black paint. And I switched it up to a black Sharpie. Gave me a lot more control and none of that splattering. So I'm just going to sketch out the little bee. You can see the shape perfectly through, and the little wings. And I'm also going to like sketch out like the words for like let it be. And I'm glad that I decided to make these black. I think they're a lot easier to read than if I would have just left the wood burnings. And yellow and black is always great for bee decor. So we're going to do the same thing here on our Be Kind sign. And I found that one of my Sharpies, that first one I used, was a little on the older side. So I switched it up to a newer Sharpie. This one was a little bit cleaner. And I'm able to do that really fun font. So this is just a fun way. If you find some of these little bee signs, I got them at the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree, how you can kind of take them and put them together, make a bigger piece. Even with 3 of them together, it's still not big. They're just really small. As you can tell, I have really small hands, and it's about the same size as my hand. So I'm going to touch this one up because that one kind of had the older Sharpie. And 2 of these also have like a honeycomb pattern on there. And I kind of like that. So I'm going to go in and sketch that out with the black Sharpie as well. But the Sharpie was definitely the way to go with this one. Really easy to draw everything out. And I think it all turned out looking really good, actually. So this one had honeycomb pattern on the top of it. So we're just going to draw those all in there too. And then I want to kind of break up that perfect black by whitewashing it some more because I want it to look old and weathered and distressed. So I just go over all of the black Sharpie with another coat of that yellow whitewash. And that really gave it a cool vibe. There is a lot of water in that paint, so I got to try to make sure I get this dry. And this is what it looks like right now. Just trying to make sure I have like an even level of yellow on there, and then we can put these together. I was trying to decide if I wanted my honeycombs to meet up like that or to be opposite like that, and I decided opposite. So I'm going to put the 3 together, all kind of interlocking like that, and we can make a fun little wall hanging. I'm just going to use hot glue to attach them to each other. They're pretty square as fitting together, so I was happy with that. And I'm going to glue the 3rd one on right there. It's looking pretty good. I like the yellow and the black. I am going to distress it a little bit more with another coat of the yellow whitewash, just because I really kind of like that vibe, and dry that over the top of it. I did end up wanting to make a hanger for the back. I was trying to decide like if I should use one of these little hooks from the Dollar Tree. I ended up using twine. I thought it would be the easiest way to hang it. I could attach it to 2 signs because it has such an abnormal top. And then that way I can kind of adjust it left to right to make it hang level. That was what I was worried about. So I just took a piece of twine and tied a knot in each end. And I'm just going to hot glue that on the back of the 2 signs, kind of at a level point. Now, I did want a little bit more contrast. I had used that yellow whitewash for the frame as well, but I thought it was just a little bit too much yellow. So I decided to paint the frames black. I'm just going to do that with a black paint pen. Simple enough. I just go over the front of them. Just trying to make sure that I don't get any on the images themselves. And that provided a nice, black frame for these to kind of break them up a little bit. I do like the fact that I used the yellow whitewash and kind of made it look more subtle on the designs. But I do like the addition of the bold black for the frames. Definitely just provides another color, a little bit more contrast on this one. So I just painted the front edge of all of them, But then I decided that I probably should paint the sides too, because it's going to be hanging on the wall. You'll be able to see the sides too. And one thing I love about like bee decor, I started in the spring, but it's definitely something you can leave up all summer. I know some people do it for the summer. So a very versatile item to decorate with, and always lots of fun. But these frames are really cute. I just think on their own, it's just going to be a really small sign if you're only going to do one of them. So I like the idea of doing 3 of them and putting them together like this. I think it really helped make it more substantial. So that's how it turned out. Our little be nice, be kind, and let it be sign. Here's a little close up look how it turned out. The wood burning really provided a good background for me to be able to add those images. I kind of wish the wood burning on it was even darker, so maybe you wouldn't have to paint that part. But overall, I think it turned out really cute. I want to do my tier tray with a bee theme, but I wanted a really simple, easy bee theme. And Dollar Tree had lots of cute items, and Dollar Spot at Target too, where I didn't have to make too many things for it, and it turned out really cute. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is make a little mini pennant banner for the front of my tier tray, and I'm just going to do that with some of this black and yellow striped ribbon from the Dollar Tree. That'll look like bee stripes. So I'm just cutting little triangles down. I'm going to leave the seam on the top of them, just to kind of give them a little bit of structure for the top, but only for the top. The rest of it's just going to be ribbon. I cut the second wire off on the bottom. And I want to do like 5 of them all about the same. I just cut down a piece of twine about the same size as my top tier, and I'm simply going to attach them with hot glue. Just a very simple little mini pennant banner. It doesn't take too much. I'm just going to kind of guess my spacing. I'm doing them fairly close together and just hot gluing the little pennants down one at a time. I had kind of started in the center there, so I would know where the center needed to be, and I want to do a total of 5. I didn't really like how that piece looked, so I'm going to recut my 5th piece and attach this here. And I'm just going to attach this to my top tier with a little dot of hot glue on each side, just to provide a little bit of fun bee feel to that. Now for greenery, I always like to use greenery for filler on my tier trays. This is some greenery from Dollar Tree. It's really beautiful, isn't it? I cut it down to size, a longer piece for the bottom, and I'm going to use the shorter piece up here at the top. Just going to provide a little bit of green color, but the leaves are nice and small. Now for the first item, I found this one at Target Dollar Spot. Isn't this so cute? This was $3, and it's a beautiful little beehive. It looks like wood, and it's got a little bee on the front, the opening, everything like that. So it is ready to go. I'm going to display that on the top of my tier tray. And this is another item from my stash. This is my Rae Dunn honey pot that I got actually on clearance at my Publix grocery store, which was kind of wild. But you know what I did right here? I was showing you this on camera, and I tripped and I broke the lid on it on my way to the tier tray. I was so sad. But you know what? The honey pot is still cute even without the lid. So you know what? We're going to use it anyway. That's one of my favorite bee pieces, that little honey pot. This is another Target Dollar Spot find, this little bee. It was $3 as well. I got it this year at Target, and it's got like a braided rope with like a brown braided rope stripe. It's all covered in that like material. It is so cute and so well made. Like the bottom of the wings are like kind of a burlap. I love it. It's kind of big too. So we're going to display that on the top. I'm going to have it kind of climbing out of the tier tray so you can definitely see it, because it's definitely one of the stars of the show. I really like it. And the top tier on this one is not too big, so I think that's enough of the larger pieces, but I did want to use some flowers for a little bit more filler. These are from Dollar Tree too. These are the asters. I picked these because they were white with like the yellow center. I couldn't really find exactly what I was looking for at Dollar Tree, but I think these will work. I'm just going to give them a quick iron with my heat gun. They really wanted to fold up on themselves and cover up like the yellow centers, and I really wanted the yellow centers to be exposed. And so I just kind of iron them out with my heat gun one at a time until they look their best, and I can use those as filler. The top is kind of small though, so I'm only going to need a couple of them to fill on the top. But I just put one in front of the honey pot and then one between the beehive and the honey pot there in the back. And that is filled in nicely. It looks really fun for spring. And we can move on to the bottom. So this is the rest of that greenery that I got at the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to kind of string that around the bottom of it, and we can start decorating the bottom. Now this is from Dollar Tree, the little Be Humble sign. It's so cute. It's like a slatted wood sign. It is so perfect. It stands up on its own, and it is a perfect size for a tier tray. So I told you this tier tray was going to be really easy, right? I was able to find most of these pieces already pre-made. So definitely saves me some time. Now, the next project we are going to kind of put together, these are those new bee tins that they have at Dollar Tree this year. They're kind of big, and I wanted to kind of fill it with a house plant, and I didn't really have anything that would fit in there, and so I'm going to kind of try to make a faux house plant with some of this greenery from the Dollar Tree. The first thing I'm going to do is just kind of take the whole thing off the vine. That's just going to leave me with the leaves. And I wanted to see if I could kind of make my own little house plant. So I'm going to use one of the little green foam pieces, but as you can see, it's a big bucket. So it doesn't fit in there too good. I'm just going to use that excess twine to kind of boost that up a little bit so we can like make the house plant by using the vine and actually putting it into the foam. That's my plan. So I'm going to leave the two leaves attached, but I cut off a little bit of a stem, so I have something that I can put down into the foam like that, and it's a little bit easier to work with when it's not quite in the bucket. And it's also easier to work with if you poke a hole in that foam first before you add the greenery. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just using a little tiny screwdriver, poke a hole in the foam, and put the greenery down in there. And this was a quick little hack to try to give me a little faux house plant that's going to provide a little bit more greenery to the tier tray as well, and a fun thing to put in that little bee bucket. They still have the smaller bee buckets, the ones with the stripes. Those are super cute too, and you could do kind of the same project with that one. But I wanted to try one of these new ones. It's definitely a larger bucket, so it's going to take up a little bit more room there. And then I'm going to use just a little brown floral moss, any area where I can kind of see the green foam, to kind of disguise that. And it totally worked. Here's our little faux house plant and our bee bucket. Kind of a DIY. Now, the next item is from the fairy garden section at Dollar Tree. They have these cute little bee gnomes. They have different ones. This one's holding like a bee skep and like a bee. Mine was a little skinned up. Sometimes, you know, the Dollar Tree products can be, especially like these little fairy garden things. So I'm just going to touch up the skin on his nose and his hands to kind of make him look a little bit better. But otherwise, he's super cute. I'm going to display him here in front. He's not that tall, so I think he'll work well there. And then the next item is a candle. It's a sunflower scented candle. It smells really good. And it's got like a little glass bee on the side of it. I got this at Dollar Tree as well. I was trying to decide if I should just leave it clear glass with the bee on there, but I decided I wanted you to be able to see the bee a little bit better, so I'm going to try to paint it on. So I'm using a black paint pen to kind of draw that on. I did notice that this black paint pen was a little thick for the little tiny dainty legs and stuff like that. So I'm going to switch it up to like a finer tip tier one for the legs because they're a little bit skinnier here, and just kind of drawing everything that is kind of lifted out of the glass, and you can really see it a lot better now. And then I gave it a couple bee stripes with my yellow paint pen to make it look like a bee. And I think I'll store it with the lid on it to keep that fragrance safe until I burn it because it smelled really good. I definitely want to burn this candle, but it's nice and small, so I fit it right there in front. The next item is also from the Dollar Tree. It's a sign, but it's a hanging sign, but I'm going to use it kind of as a leaner sign to go up against the center section. I do want to kind of paint it and give it a little update since it's going to be kind of the very front of my bottom of my tier tray. And sometimes the paint doesn't go all the way to the sides on these projects. And sometimes you want to customize it too. So I'm going to show you how I do it. I just touched up the wings, which I don't really like the fact that the wings are yellow, but I'll show you what I do for that. And I'm going to touch up the black and all the different areas. Super cute. And then I wanted the flowers to kind of match the flowers that I used on the tier tray. So instead of purple, I painted mine white, and then we can go back and add like yellow centers to them to kind of match the flowers that we used. I'm also going to use like a fine tip black paint pen to do like the veining there on the wings of it. And I also kind of whitewash it a little bit with a little bit of white on top of it too to kind of make that a little bit different color than the bright yellow that they were painted before. Not really sure why they were painted that color. But with a little makeover, I think it looks really nice. And I'm going to display this right here in front. You can also use one of the bee stepping stones. Those are super cute as well. And they would work well in a tier tray. And then we're just going to finish it off with those white and yellow flowers from the Dollar Tree. I told you this tier tray was going to be really easy. It was really quick to put together. Lots of fun finds from Dollar Tree and Dollar Spot for this year. And I always love a bee tier tray. I think this is the third one that I've done. So yeah, check back. I do have some more detailed ones for sure. But this one was definitely the easiest one I think I've ever put together. But I think it turned out really cute. It would be a really fun theme for a summer tier tray. I actually have mine in my kitchen right now. It looks so cute for summer, but you could also use this theme for spring. Hey guys, have you checked out my new website yet? It's craftybeach.net, and it is a blog that I'm doing to kind of archive all of my YouTube DIYs. So you'll see the most recent blog posts first, and you can kind of scroll down to see what kind of DIYs I've been making. If you click on one of the individual blog posts, you're going to find a photo of every DIY that we made in that video. So it'll be super convenient. You can pin it on Pinterest so you can remember to go back and make that DIY, or if you want to make it next year or something like that. So you'll find a link to the YouTube video down below as well. I have everything organized by season. I just started it this spring, so this is what I have so far. I even have like links to like my Amazon shop here for some of the crafting items that I do get on Amazon that I use in my videos, and I even have a link to my Etsy shop. So I have all of those fun crafting meme printables that you guys love so much. I have hundreds of them over there, and they're really popular. So be sure to check out my new website. It is craftybeach.net. I'm really excited to bring this to you. Now let's get on with the summer DIYs. Up next, we're going to have some Flamingo DIYs by special request. A lot of you guys were asking for summer Flamingo DIYs, and I have some really fun ideas with some of the items they have at the Dollar Tree this summer. Now I was thinking front porch outdoor decorations. So the first one is going to be a wind chime. We're going to use one of the plastic pink flamingos from Dollar Tree and 5 of these new wood bead garlands they have this year with the adorable flamingo on the end. I'm also going to be using one of their wood slices ornaments from the Dollar Tree, but you could really use anything circular. It's a little smaller than I want it to be, but I'll show you how I go about fixing that. For now, I need there to be 5 holes in there. So there was already 1 hole drilled in it to hang it. So I just drilled a hole opposite of it, and then I'm going to do 4 scattered out evenly around the sides, and then 1 in the middle for the middle part. and to hang our wind chime. So I love the fact that these have the wood beads on them and the flamingo are made out of wood too. So they will all kind of clink together, kind of like a bamboo or a wood wind chime. So I just have to determine how long I want them to be. I think about 2/3 of the way is good. What I'm going to do is just cut it longer though, so that I still have some twine on there that I can use to tie it up. Now I want all 4 on the outsides of my wind chimes to have the same amount of beads. So just using one for reference, I can kind of see exactly what I need to do with the next one. And after this project, I have a lot of extra pink wood beads, so I'll have to find a use for those as well. So again, we're doing 4 the same length. They're going to go in those like 4 outer holes. And then we'll be doing one longer one for the middle to kind of make them all, make lots of noise like a wind chime. And then I'm going to show you how I put it all together. We're going to be hanging everything from that plastic pink flamingo. And this turned out so cute. I have lots of ideas for that pink flamingo in today's video, so stay tuned. Now this is going to be the 5th one, so this is going to be the one for the center. So I do want it kind of significantly longer. And so I think I'm just going to use all but like 4. And again, trying to keep my twine there at the end. The pink flamingo, some of the DIYs today, I will be kind of painting it, dressing it up a little bit, but I think it's fine, just straight pink for this one. I want it to be really weather resistant, and I think it will be. I'm going to go ahead and poke some holes here on the top for a hanger, and I'm just doing that with a Cricut weeder. The plastic is very soft, it's really easy to do that, and I'm going to use a ring for a hanger. Now, these are the rings that are on the top of all of the Dollar Tree wood shelves that I DIY with all the time. I always try to save some of these because you never know when you need something like this. You could also use like the little binder rings from the Dollar Tree too. And I just use pliers to open it up so I could get it through there. And then I'm going to use pliers and just kind of bend it back where it is a solid ring. And then I'm going to have a string to tie it, so I kind of turn it around so that opening part is actually inside the little plastic pink flamingo. Now to hang that, I'm just going to take some Dollar Tree twine and loop that through. And the circle is a little bit on the larger size. You could totally get away with something a lot smaller, or you could even put your twine through the flamingo itself. But I had one of those metal rings, so I thought that would be a good addition to hang it. Now we can think about putting this together. What I'm going to do is do the 4 side pieces first. So again, I left as much of the twine on there as I can so I don't have to restring anything. I'm going to have it actually go around the side and come down the other side. That is my solution to making it wider because these little wood discs from the Dollar Tree are not too big. I like triple tie it to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. And I left enough room so that that can come around to the other side. So basically, that wood slice is going to be upside down in the final project. So I left enough room there just by kind of like laying it flat. And then we're just going to tie all these off. Every time I've been to Dollar Tree, I've been picking up some of these wood bead garlands just because they have flamingos on them. And I know you guys always love the Flamingo DIYs. I'm always getting lots of requests for Flamingo DIYs. So I knew I was going to need these for something, and we're going to be using these for a couple of projects today. And I did save one though, because I always like to do a pink flamingo tier tray during the summer if I can. So here is my 4th and final piece. I made sure that I had them all kind of equally spaced from the wood disc just by kind of laying it flat. And this is what I'm talking about. I flip it over so they hang kind of on the sides of it, which is going to make them hang a little bit farther apart from each other, which is what I want because they were a little too close. And then for the one in the middle, I'm going to tie a knot here. I did a double knot before I put it into the wood. And that's going to help this wood disc to kind of be flat in the design. And then I can use that twine to attach it to the pink flamingo, but I have all these extra pink beads. I might as well use a few. Now I have a plastic needle with my crafting supplies. You can use any kind of needle. I'm just using the holes that were already in the pink flamingo for the legs. just to get the twine through there, it made it a little bit easier. And then I just tied it off. And pretty simple, wouldn't you say? We have a pink flamingo wind chime. This is what it looks like hanging in front of my house. I think it's so cute and such a whimsical idea of what to do with those pink flamingos, because I guess you just can't have pink flamingos just sitting everywhere. I tried to get really creative with them today and give you lots of fun options. Doesn't that look really cute there with the palm tree right behind it? Hey guys, if you're enjoying today's video, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, the next DIY, again, a pink flamingo from the Dollar Tree, and since we're going with pink, I decided to use a pink pot as well. This is like a flowers and garden metal pot from the Dollar Tree. I am going to punch some holes in the bottom of this because I'm going to be using this outdoors, and I don't want it to like hold water or anything like that. We have enough mosquitoes here in Florida without giving some standing water to them. So I just turned it over and just used a nail and just nailed that through. A really easy way to punch some holes right there in the bottom. And you could do a real plant with this. I'd probably suggest that. I'm going to show you how I kind of do a faux plant with mine, but it would look really cute in an existing plant or just a real house plant that you have. Since this is going outside, I decided to weigh mine down a little bit with some Dollar Tree rocks there in the bottom. And then this is the foliage. Isn't this so pretty and tropical from the Dollar Tree? I thought that'd be a cute little plant. I only have one of them though, so I'm going to have to kind of spread it out to kind of make it look like a plant big enough for this. But I also picked up some potting soil from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use real potting soil in there to kind of make this look like a faux plant. I do go back and end up adding some more gravel to it just because I needed a little bit more to kind of keep everything in place. I don't want this falling apart outside. Now, the plant itself actually had wire in it that was kind of strong. I kind of struggled with cutting these off, but if you kind of bend them back and forth enough, they will break off, but my scissors were not wanting to cooperate there. But I'm just going to cut all of the plant into individual pieces and place it down into the potting soil and the rocks below to make it stand up and make it look like a faux plant. I don't really have a green thumb, but outdoor plants are pretty easy. So if you have a real plant, that would be even prettier. I thought this, though, these tropical leaves like this, really would add to the pink flamingo vibe of this DIY. So I was glad to find these. So I'm just kind of having them be top up like the leaves, and they're actually like really good to condition. You know, Dollar Tree has really upped their game with their greenery and stuff like this. You can find some really high-end looking things for $1.25. A lot of the Dollar Tree greenery used to look really cheap, and some of it still does, but I think these are so pretty. So just cutting these all individually. I did find a pair of scissors that wanted to help a little bit cutting through these because the wire in them were actually thicker than I thought. So I went all around the edges, and then for the final two leaves, I'm just going to kind of fill it out right here in the middle. And this is going to be the base plant for what we're going to do with the flamingo. I thought that the flamingo feathers kind of look like pink flowers, and so I thought we could make our own little like floral flamingo to be sticking out of this tropical plant. I did water my potting soil a little bit just to make it kind of hold everything better together. It was really dry potting soil in there. And then this is the pink flamingo we're going to DIY. I thought we could leave like the neck and head and everything the same, but we could cover like the body where all the feathers would be with some of these dahlias from the Dollar Tree. I ended up using 3 bundles of these, but don't these look a lot like flamingo feathers? I thought that would be so fun to kind of cover the entire body part of it with these flowers. They do have a stem on them already, and so I'm going to actually poke a hole with my Cricut weeder into that soft plastic. Not quite big enough though, so I did have to follow that up with a quick snip of my scissors to make this stem fit in there. And then combined with hot glue, I'm going to punch that into it. And I wasn't going to use hot glue at first, but the stem into that smaller hole like that, it's pretty secure. I think it's going to hold well. So I did one there to the left. I'm going to do another one kind of down here on the bottom part, just kind of using the shape of the flamingo as reference. I kind of figure out where I want it to be. I'm going to have one right above that. And then it's so easy just to poke a hole in those. And then I just snip a small snip just to make it give a little bit, because otherwise it's not going to fit in there. And we can keep building this out. I didn't want it to be too covered. I just kind of wanted to cover all of the surface of it. So I found like a total of 5 of these really covered one side. I'm going to have this like an outdoor decoration. I'm going to want it visible from all sides. So we're going to cover like the entire body with these, which is why I ended up needing 3 of these. But that's what it looks like to start with. Super cute. And so I just flip it over and we can start on this side as well. I'm going to just kind of poke holes and snip and glue each one of these flowers, just like I did on the other side. And then we will actually fill in the top part too, just to make it look like a really fun floral arrangement with a flamingo sticking out of it. I absolutely love how this turned out. It's so whimsical and cute. You can use it for summer decor. You can use it for like luau, any kind of thing like that. You could use it year round. I know I do pink flamingo stuff year round because it's so fun and festive. Now I had 3 of the flowers left. I think a couple of mine have been partials. But that is perfect for filling out the top part of our floral arrangement. It's so cute. I love how this turned out. These are the legs. They're like little metal legs that come with it. They're a little flimsy. You can always upgrade those a little bit if you wanted to. And you can even use like skewers and stuff like that for them, because it's not a very, very big flamingo. And I just kind of push it down into the soil and the rocks, trying to get it in there as steady and secure as I can. It took a little bit of wiggling on there, but I absolutely love how this turned out. It's so whimsical and fun. You can even have the little floral flamingo out in your landscaping and not do a separate pot like this, because look how cute it looks. It looks so much better than it did before. And the addition of those Dollar Tree tropical leaves below, I really think goes with the pink flamingo theme. And how fun we even have like a little pink pot to display it all. I think this is going to look so cute in front of my house this summer. Now, the next item, I used one of these for 4th of July recently and I loved it. They're these new door banners they have at Dollar Tree, and of course they have a flamingo one. It actually says, "Let's Flamingo," and it hangs like on the side of your doorway if you have like a window or not, just on the side of your door. I have a window on one side, so one is perfect for me. But I also live in Florida. It's pretty windy. I want to kind of weigh down the bottom a little bit. I'm just going to use a Dollar Tree ruler for this. I used craft wood on my 4th of July one, and that worked well, but seemed like it was a little larger than I probably needed. I think a ruler is going to be fine. I just cut it down a little bit because it was too long, and hot glued it right here to the bottom. And I'm gonna hang that next to my front door to show you how cute this is. It'd be great to hang out there for summer, or if you're having any kind of a party this summer. Pink flamingos, you really can't go wrong. This is how it looks hanging in that window next to my front door. Let's flamingo. So easy. I really didn't have to do anything to it, but adding the wood to the bottom definitely helps keep it down and prevent it from, flying all around. Hey guys, have you joined my private Facebook group yet? I have it linked in the description below this video. We'd love to see what you've been crafting. I also have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. My handle and everything is Crafty Beach on YouTube. I'd love to see you over there. Okay, the next DIY, these are new this year. Aren't they so cute? These new metal summer signs. This one says Aloha and has the pink flamingo on it. I thought this would be another fun idea to make like a wind chime. I'm actually going to be making like a wall hanging, like a door chime is what I call them. I love hanging these like on the door, inside or outdoors, but I usually do them on my like door to my garage. I really love that. And it's just kind of a fun idea, but it will look great as a wind chime or a wall hanging as well. So I have picked up 3 more of those pink flamingo wood beads. I love them. And I'm going to use them like this. I think I want to do like an odd number. So I'm going to do 3 of the pink flamingos. And then I can use the wood beads for something else, the other 2. And then I thought these coasters they have from the Dollar Tree in the summer section would be perfect. They're like the Monstera leaf too, but it's like a green felt. So I don't know how well those would hold up outdoors. They might do okay. They're pretty thick. I'm going to have mine indoors though, so I think that they'll be fine. But you can kind of hang whatever you want from yours. Just get creative. I just cut mine off a little bit longer, so I have a little bit extra twine here, and tie that off here to the left side of our Aloha sign. It has wood beads on the hanger of it too, so it's all going to go really well together with this. I'm going to cut this one off using the same amount of beads as that one. I want the 3 flamingos to be all like the same length. Depending on how many of these you're going to hang though, you can kind of mix them up. Make them go longer in the middle or on the sides or whatever, however you want. I'm going to have the Monstera leaves be shorter, so I wanted the pink flamingos all to be about the same. So I'm trying to leave my excess beads on there so that I can reuse that when I use those to hang the leaves on this. And we're going to tie this one off just right over here. I'm not going to glue these down or anything. I'm going to have them where they can kind of freely move left to right when I can kind of go in there and center them a little bit more. Now I kind of want to repeat the same like bead pattern. And so I kind of need to go like this way, light pink, white, darker pink. So I flip it around like that and just tie this to the coaster to the leaf stem so that that will hang down. And then I just have to determine how long I want it to be. Again, I said I wanted these to be shorter, so I think I'm just going to kind of lay it out to see what I like. And then again, cutting the twine longer and just pulling the beads off. That way you have twine left to tie it on there. You might want to give yourself a little bit more room. If you cut it too short like this, it can be a little bit difficult tying it on. But I was able to make it work. And one more, because I like to do odd numbers, so we're going to take it from 3 to 5. I think it just looks better for sure. So this is some of the other arrangement. I'm going to do kind of the same thing with the same amount of beads in the same order. And I just tied this one off like this before I attached my leaf. And that way I can kind of move everything around, get everything centered, level out my beads exactly where I want them to be before I go in there and attach my final coaster. I love these coasters from the Dollar Tree. I hardly ever use them for coasters, but I love using them for DIYs. They have them in lots of different seasons, and they're really just a fun craft material. So I'm going to hang it just like that. If you kind of push the stent inside the wood bead, it kind of makes the leaf hang a little bit straighter. But let me show you how it turned out. This is how it looks hanging on my door to my garage. So cute. They also have those signs in like a pineapple design, which I picked up. I'll have to be doing some pineapple DIYs this summer. I love that. It's so cute. And a little door chime, wind chime, whatever you want to call it. I think it's fun. Another fun idea for those little flamingo wood beads. Okay, now we're switching up themes. We're going to go do some luau party DIYs. These would be fun for summer decor or if you're having like a luau themed party. And the first one is going to be a tiki man. So to start with, I picked up 3 pots from the Dollar Tree. They're plastic. If you can get a terracotta, that would be great. The only downside of these is that they're really thin, and I need to stack one on top of another, kind of like one upside down on top of another, and they don't really have a lip at all. So I'm going to try to fix that situation with just some scrap Dollar Tree rope that I had. I'm actually going to glue it on the inside edge, therefore giving it a lip, so when I glue them together, it's going to be more secure, and I won't have to worry about just gluing that thin piece of plastic to the thin piece of plastic. I don't think that would be very sturdy, and I want to make a really cool tiki man. I've seen other people make these out of like terracotta pots and stuff like that, and I wanted to see if I could do like a Dollar Tree version. So I was really happy that I found brown pots because that saved me a step of having to paint them. If you can't find brown, you're going to have to try to get it like a color that kind of looks like wood, like a brown color. Now, since I did the lip on the bottom pot, I'm also doing it on, this is going to be the middle pot on our Tiki Man. And again, so I'll have a lip so that I can glue them together. When I apply the glue, I'll be basically gluing the pots together, but also gluing like the ropes together. So I got both of those like that. I want it to be very bottom heavy, and so I'm just using some Dollar Tree rocks. It doesn't matter what you use. You just need to weigh down the bottom of it. If you're going to have it anywhere where it might get some wind or something like that, and you don't want it blowing over. I used 2 packages because I wanted it to be really heavy. And now it's time to glue these 2 pots together. Since I have that lip now, thanks to the rope, that actually worked really well. I put hot glue all along the edges and then just set my second pot on top. They do have like a little drainage thing there on the back where you can drain the pot. I just made sure to kind of line those up on the same side. That's going to be like the back of my Tiki Man. And it seems actually pretty secure with them attached like that. For the middle body section, it's really simple to paint this. I'm just using a white Posca paint pen and just doing a line straight down. The only challenging part is like that ribbed surface of it, trying to keep your line straight. But then I do like these little lines going down, some paint there on the chest of our little Tiki Man, and I think we have room for like maybe another row of those. Super easy. For the face, I'm actually not going to paint it. You totally could, but I'll show you what I ended up doing. Now for the bottom section of the Tiki Man, I'm using a grass skirt. This is a child-sized grass skirt from the Dollar Tree. And it ended up being a tiny bit too short. So you might need to spread yours out a little bit or use the adult size. And I just trimmed it down to size so it would fit our little Tiki Man. My mistake was I probably should have spread out the raffia on there a little bit because I was a little short here at the end, but I'll show you how I fixed it. It was really easy since I have all that extra raffia left over, right? I'm just starting like on the side and then hot gluing the grass skirt right there at the seam. That's going to help, glue them together. It's also going to cover up the seam and make it look a lot better just by gluing that straight over. And I do that all the way around, and that's when I realized, yeah, the child size was actually a little too small, which is kind of surprising. These pots are not that big. But I have these extra pieces. They're just the right length. If you take 2 of them, make a loop, and do like a little like slip knot like that, that is how they're attached to it. So no problem. I'll just do that until I can fill this up because I want like the grass skirt to go all the way around. I've got some fun ideas for how to decorate this little guy. And the grass skirt is key. Now I have all that extra raffia there from the grass skirt. I'm actually going to use that to make his arms. I know a lot of people do them with smaller size pots, but I couldn't find any smaller pots that was the same color. So I'm going to show you how I end up doing his arms with just the raffia there. So it's long enough now, so I hot glued that in place and just tied my twine together there on the side. And you can kind of trim up any pieces that might be a little bit too long. I also kind of want to mess the grass skirt up a little bit, wrinkle it, make it look a little bit scarier, like a Tiki Man, more authentic. And then I'm just going to take a bundle and fold it in half like that. And I think that's going to make a perfect little Tiki Man arm. A lot of times like the Tiki Man costumes and stuff that I've seen have like the raffia on their arms too. So instead of doing a pot, or I couldn't really figure out what to make his arm out of, I thought this would be good. So I used some twine and just tied that in between, kind of making just a very primitive like tassel. I grab another bundle about the same amount and tie that off as well. So now I have 2 arms. They're made out of raffia, and I want to kind of tie them off, but also like kind of glue them in place before we start working on our next pot. I only want 1 piece of twine, so I just cut the other one off. The other 2 are long enough to go all the way across and tie. So that's what I do. I just tie those into a knot just to maybe help secure those a little bit. And then I'm just going to hot glue those here in place, centering them on there with I have like the chest of our little Tiki Man facing me. I think that looks really good. This is what it looks like so far. All he needs is a Tiki Man head, and this is also going to be a planter, so it was really fun to make. You could use a real plant for this. I'm going to show you how I DIY a fake one. I make sure the little port there is on the back, and then I designed this tiki face printable for this project. I just printed mine out on regular paper, copy paper, and I will share this free printable with you in the description below or next to this YouTube video. And so you could recreate. I thought that I could paint it on there, but I really want it to have a really fun, intricate, colorful face. So we're just going to Mod Podge it on. It actually worked pretty well. And I was just worried that I wasn't going to be able to paint a super great design on there with the ridges. But if you're feeling artistic, you could just hand paint your own face on there. But this actually worked pretty well. Since it's a thin sheet of paper, just the regular copy paper, it kind of took the shape of the ridges, which was great because it kind of made it look a little bit more like wood. And I just Mod Podge over the top of it as well. I'm not sure if this will like be outside. If it was going to stay outside, I would use like a dishwasher safe Mod Podge or outdoor Mod Podge or something like that, or some kind of sealer on top of it. Instead, I just sealed it a couple times with Mod Podge, and it seems pretty good. Now for the hair, I thought it'd be fun to do ferns from the Dollar Tree. So I just take a foam block. I'm going to cut down another one. I don't really want to cut down the size of the fern, so these being in the bottom of the pot is going to work well. Because it's kind of a long fern plant. So I just kind of fill it up with pieces of foam. So there'll be foam everywhere I want to put a fern. And these are the ferns. I've noticed that some of them, like this one, is kind of like more cloth-like than some of them. I don't know. Maybe they've changed their formula on these. But if they get too wrinkly and crazy, you can always iron them with your glue gun like that. That's what I did. On some of these ones that you can see just want to kind of curl the wrong way and make them look kind of cheap. Quick, easy Dollar Tree hack for plants. Now, I started with 5 of these. I thought I only had 5, but I ended up actually using a total of 7. Luckily, I found another 2 because it really took that much to get a pot this size and make it really look full. I want it to look like the Tiki Man has crazy fern hair like sticking out all over, and you would not believe how terrified my husband is of this Tiki Man. I told him I was going to sit it in our bedroom tonight and have it stare at him all night while he slept. I don't think he was very happy. He complains about it every time he sees it. I think it is adorable. And I've always wanted to make one of these, so I think it was a lot of fun. Now, to attach these together, I'm just going to use hot glue. I go around the edges where it's going to go bottom to bottom for the next pot. And I can even do some here on the twine in the middle to glue it in the middle. And then it's too tall for my camera setup, so I just kind of had to push it off to the side and glue that in place. But I can still show you because I can lay it down pretty easily. Now, to cover the seam between these 2 pots, I thought my leftover rope there from the Dollar Tree would be great just to give it another fun little detail and to cover that seam as well. So I had just enough to do this. I'm just going to hot glue that. It also kind of covers up the seam area there with my little tiki arms. And I just glue that all the way around. Easy peasy. And this is the final step of my little Tiki Man. If you wanted to do like the pot arms, I know a lot of people hang them upside down for arms with rope. You totally could, but this is how my Tiki Man turned out. I think he's really funny. They're supposed to look a little scary with that like look on their face. But I think it's really fun, and it would be a really fun decoration for a luau party. Doesn't he look kind of mean? Are you enjoying today's video? If you are, be sure to hit that like button. It always helps my videos do better here on YouTube. Okay, the next DIY is so simple. I picked up 2 of the long candles from the Dollar Tree in bright colors that I thought would go great with luau. I picked up yellow and I picked up pink. And this is such an easy DIY. I saw these little flower bracelet lays at the Dollar Tree the other day, and I said, oh, these would be perfect for a candle. You don't even have to make your own lay out of longer ones, and they're stretchy. So they have all these different colors. For this one, I did purple, yellow, blue, 1 green, 1 pink, and then the final one is like a multicolor, which is cute. I'm going to put that one on the top. And then I don't want them to be exactly the same, so I'm going to actually like flip that pattern for my second one. So I'm going to start with like the multicolor and reverse that pattern the other way. And you can't get a DIY much easier than that. Perfect for a luau party. So easy to do and very inexpensive. So this is how they look during the day. As you can see, they're super bright and colorful, as are the candles inside, which you can still safely burn. I tried not to get my lays too close to the top, so I put them down just slightly under the lip of it. And let me show you what they look lit up at. Aren't that so pretty? Such a fun, easy little luau party DIY. Now for the next one, I wanted to do a luau wreath. So I started with a foam wreath form from the Dollar Tree and some of their little drink umbrellas. I kind of have some that are plastic picked and some that have like toothpicks on them. I don't know if Dollar Tree changed the way that they're doing them. I kind of preferred the plastic ones. I just poked it all the way through. As you can see, the pick is a little bit too long, so I just cut it off with some heavy duty scissors. And I'm just going to start alternating colors. I'm working kind of on the front, just having them overlap slightly, covering most of the wreath form and just pushing them in. The most time-consuming part of this part was just opening those little drink umbrellas. What are they calling them? Parasol picks? I don't think I've ever heard them called that. And I'm just trying to alternate colors. So I did pink, yellow, green, orange. I had some already, and then I have a couple packages here from the Dollar Tree. As you can see, these have toothpicks on them, which actually, were sturdier, but they were a little bit harder to cut. So again, as you can see, since I had that many colors, I can just alternate. So pink is straight across from pink, yellow is straight across from yellow, and on until I get all the way around. And then I realized I probably didn't space these out evenly because I only have one color left and I have a little extra room. So we're going to fix that easy enough. I just put that one in there and then move the other ones next to it over just a little bit so everything still overlaps, but that I don't have to switch it up with another color that's going to kind of mess up my pattern. That's it for the little drink umbrellas. Now for a hanger, I'm just going to do a piece of twine. I just tie off a simple loop here at the top. And we have a hanger. I wanted to do that now in case I couldn't get to that after we add the lei. This is the lei I wanted to add to it. I thought this would be really fun in combination with the drink umbrellas. And look, it has a surprise. It is a light up lei. When I bought this, I really didn't know it lit up. How fun is that? Now, the only challenge with that means I can't cut it because it's got wiring inside of it. And so it's a little bit larger than that wreath form from the Dollar Tree, but I'll show you how I get around that. So I went ahead and laid it with like the battery pack there on the bottom with a button to turn it on so it'll be easy to turn on. And then I'm just using zip ties, but I'm using zip ties like big enough to go around everything. So the wreath form, I tuck it underneath the umbrellas and then around the lei. Now, I probably should have done this step before I did the paper umbrellas because I had to spend the time like trying to go underneath of them and stuff like that. But easy enough. I did like one zip tie straight across from the other. And now I'm doing like the other kind of quadrant and trying to keep the extra lei evenly spaced between them so we can bundle everything in. And I did quarters, but it still was pretty loose. So I'm going to do more zip ties. The more the better on this. You're not going to be able to see them. Once I get them on there, I just trim them off and push the little knot around to the back so that you can't see it at all. But it really serves a good purpose to try to get that smaller shape for the lei since I can't really cut it and make it any shorter. But I think it was pretty easy. And all you have to do is push a light and now it lights up, which is super fun. If you're having like a luau party or something like this, you can hang this on your front door. Everybody's going to know you're having a party with all those bright colors. But even if you did it with a regular lei from the Dollar Tree that's not lit up, I think it would still look really festive and fun. All the bright colors of like the drink umbrellas combined with the bright colors of the Dollar Tree leis just really makes it look really tropical and fun. And it was so easy to put together. Let me show you how it looks during the day. And this is how it looks lit up at night. Isn't that so cool? I love it. Now I'm going to be decorating for an indoor luau table, but you could always use this idea for outdoors as well. This is just my kitchen table. I have like an eat-in kitchen area. So the first thing I'm doing is just measuring my table. For the main tablecloth, I'm just using one of those cheap $1 party tablecloths in like a hot pink color. I actually got this one at Dollar General, but it's like the same thing that you would find at like Dollar Tree. In fact, Dollar General might even be a little bit cheaper on this. I think it was $1. But one thing I like to do with these, the reason I measured it is because I know that I have like 18 inches extra width-wise by looking at the measurements on the package. So I want to give the same allowance on the length. It's like way longer than I need for my table. So I needed to cut off about 30 inches on this one to make it fit perfectly. And just a little hack I do to avoid having to cut it later, because when it's all folded up like that, it's so much easier to cut and to work with. And if you really wanted it to look, we're going to make this kind of a high-end looking luau. You could always use fabric, but I didn't have anything in a bright color like this size. But it would look nicer, but it's definitely going to cost more than $1. This is just going to cover the tabletop. We're going to be doing like a grass skirt for the table skirt and stuff like that. So you're not going to be able to see much of this beyond the color. So I think it's going to be fine. So I also want to kind of measure and see exactly how many grass skirts I need. And the way mine worked out is I needed a total of 6. If you use the adult size luau skirts from the Dollar Tree, it's perfect height, at least it is for my kitchen table. You'll kind of have to see what you're working with, but the child ones are skinnier and shorter. So I picked up 6 adults. How it should work is 1 on each end of the table and then 2 on each side of the table. Should be a perfect fit. So I just went ahead and took it out of the package, and I'm not gonna attach it on the tablecloth because it totally wouldn't stay there. So what I'm going to do is try to attach it directly to my table with some duct tape, which seems to work really well. If you wanted, another technique I've done is just cut the tablecloth for the top of it. That way you can connect directly to the table. But for this one, I'm going to leave the allowance on the sides, and I'm just going to punch a hole through there and kind of feed the twine through so that I can attach that to my table. And I'm just attaching it with a little bit of duct tape. Removable, but it's going to be nice and secure to keep it in place. And then I can go ahead and decorate those little holes that I have to make along on the corners and in the middle here with some flowers, of course. So I just take my next grass skirt and just tie it together just to continue that long strand of that raffia all the way across. And then I can do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to cut a hole in the tablecloth and duct tape the twine to the table itself. It cuts really easily, so you have to be careful. You just need a little hole there. And I don't want to have to tape all of it. I'm just going to go ahead and tape one piece of the twine. I think that's going to be fine. So I cut the other one off and I just feed it through the tablecloth like that. And I'm pulling it tight, but I'm going to be pulling it tighter on the corner so that I can then go back and adjust it. And I went ahead and repeated this process another 4 times all the way around the table. And so we have all 6 of the grass skirts hung on here. And then I will show you how I kind of tighten it up. This is the last one. So I'm going to go in that same hole that we started with and feed that twine straight through. And then I'm just going to tie it off on the twine that is already there. And we have a perfect grass skirt. I noticed they're not all exactly the same length, but I think they're close enough that you wouldn't really be able to notice. You will have to decorate it if you do cut holes in your tablecloth like that for sure, though, because you can't see the holes. And then I went around all 4 corners and pulled it tight along the sides. I also went around and gave it a quick trim because some of the pieces you can see there are a little too long. Now for the corners, I found these flowers at the Dollar Tree. I thought they looked a little bit tropical, right? I like the pink and the yellow accents. Definitely looks like a tropical flower for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pick one of the flower for each one of the holes. And then I would actually like to double up on the 4 corners. That way I can kind of decorate both sides of the table. And there is plenty on one bunch of this just to go ahead and do that. I just took them off the stem there, and just using a little dot of hot glue, we're going to glue this to the tablecloth right there at the corners to kind of cover up any damage, and it adds to the decor of the grass skirt for the table. Now we're going to be sitting at the table, so the grass skirt really won't get in your way too much when you're sitting there. It looks really cute on the finished table. So since that's a corner, I went ahead and did 2. And then here on the side, I only do 1. But it does a great way of kind of, disguising that a little bit. So I went ahead and did that on all of the holes there on the tablecloth. So 2 on each corner, 1 on each side piece, and I think it's looking pretty cute so far. And again, I'm doing this as an indoor setup because us Floridians, we do love our air conditioning too. But this would work perfectly outdoors as well. You're probably going to have a skinnier table though, so you can adjust your tablecloth for that. Now for the centerpiece, I'm using some of these new placemats they have at the summer section at Dollar Tree. These like giant Monstera leaves are so cute. They're glossy on one side and like kind of a matte finish on the other side. So I actually ended up using mine kind of upside down here for the centerpiece because I think they look a little bit more like a leaf without that shiny texture on them. So I was trying to decide if I wanted to kind of have them at an angle like that or if I just wanted them straight. I don't have a lot of room for a centerpiece, but I have enough room. I just went ahead and kind of sandwiched them together like that with the opening in the leaf, so they kind of spread out each way, and we can start working on our centerpiece. For that, I'm using one of these large jars from the Dollar Tree. It's a really nice size for a centerpiece, and I thought I would just cover it with one of these Dollar Tree bags in a tropical pattern. It could really be anything. We're going to go for like bright colors, but we're also going to have a lot of greenery like this as well. And so I thought this would be a really cute little touch. I'm just going to cut the fabric to cover the outside of the jar to make an easy vase. It's going to take that Dollar Tree jar and just make it look way more high end. I just went ahead and cut out a strip of it, and then I should only need like 1 piece of this. One mistake I did make here was trying to kind of like even up my lines here. I cut it a little shorter than I intended, and it wasn't quite long enough to go all the way around it, but I still used it. I'll show you exactly how I fixed that problem. I'm just hot gluing the starting seam there and just simply wrapping it around. I'm lining it up with the bottom of the jar, and I made it a little bit taller than it needs to be so I can kind of wrap it around inside the jar. That's when I realized it was a little too short. I did hot glue that end down, and then I'm just cut another little strip there, and we're just going to kind of patch that. It's just going to have like a seam, and I just made sure that that was kind of on the side where it's not real visible, and I kind of make it as skinny as I can. So I probably shouldn't have straightened up the seams there. I think it was plenty long enough without that. But just a fun idea of how you can decorate the outside of your jar like this to really make kind of a custom luau vase. And I have just enough material to wrap it around inside, but I also need to use some hot glue to kind of make sure it stays. And so I just kind of work one section at a time, tightening it in there. And I want it to look like it's draped in fabric, so I don't mind if it has like any folds or anything like that as far as this goes, but it just kind of gives it more of a finished edge here on the top. And we can fill this up with a floral arrangement. So this is what it looks like so far. Super cute. And again, you could use like bright colored bags or fabric as well. I'm going to go ahead and put some foam in there because we're going to be attaching flowers, and we're also going to be attaching a pink flamingo to this. I thought that would be fun. I know that flamingos really aren't Hawaii themed, but they go so well with the tropical theme that I went ahead and included one. So I just cut some of these squares down to size so they'll fit in there. I did one kind of on its side for some height, since this is a pretty large jar, and then one sideways like that. For the flowers, we're actually going to be using this hibiscus garland. I think it looks so tropical and pretty. That bright pink color is going to go great with that pink tablecloth. But I actually want to be able to use those as flowers in the display, but I also want to use the greenery on there. So I just kind of use some of my extra foam pieces to fill that area up so I don't have like a huge area to work with. And I just start winding the leaves in there. As I get to a hibiscus flower, I just go ahead and remove it. I'm going to attach those a different way, but I just wanted to kind of fill this up, make it look like a plant at first. And then I kind of like the idea of leaving the last two hibiscus on there so I can kind of wrap it around the jar like that, kind of cascading around. So I just went ahead and snipped the little circle that's on the end of these. Are so pretty. And I actually have some fresh ones out in front of my house, but I didn't want to pick them. They're so pretty. So I found that toothpicks work perfect for this. I have some like flat toothpicks that are flat on one end, and they fit perfectly in there, and I just use that as a little tiny pick to go into the floral foam so I can arrange them. And who knew, toothpicks for floral picks. So I went ahead and arranged 3 in there. The other 2 will be cascading down the side, kind of like that. And I think that's a really good start for the centerpiece. We're going to have really fun place settings with this as well, so I don't have a lot of room there, but enough definitely for what I'm making here. Now here is the pink flamingo I promised you from the Dollar Tree, just one of their pink flamingos. I'm not going to do anything to it. We're just going to go ahead and attach the metal legs, and that's one reason I wanted the foam to go all the way down in the jar, so I have plenty of room to attach this little guy, and I think he's going to be a really fun touch for the top of the centerpiece. So I just put him through the leaves that we already have in there and down through the foam. They're a little tricky to adjust these, so with a little bit of wiggling, you can get it just about the way that you want it. But a little easy fun detail to kind of make this like centerpiece really special. And kind of arrange my flowers here exactly how I want them. I'm going to be adding more flowers to the bottom as well to really make the centerpiece pop. And we're not just doing the table today, we're doing lots of other luau DIYs as well, so be sure to stick around. Now here is another one of the hibiscus garlands from Dollar Tree in the yellow. So I thought that would be a nice fun color to attach. I just cut the little circles off the end. I'm not a big fan of those if I'm not needing them to hang. And I'm just going to circle all the way around and just kind of let these sit kind of cascading on their vine like that. And I love the yellow contrast against all of the pink that we have going on so far. And we're going to be adding other colors to this as well. I wanted to use really bright colors, pinks, yellows, blues, and greens. So I think that looks really cute. So that is our centerpiece for our little luau party table. Now for like the placemats, I decided to use some of these new lays they have this year from the Dollar Tree. They're like a green leaf lay. I'm just going to lay them down in a circle like that where I can put my charger right on top. And you know what? They're just almost the perfect size. They're slightly larger than I need, but you can kind of wiggle them around and make them work. So I picked up a total of 4 of those for the placemats. And then I just go around and lay them out like that, right where I have all my seating arrangements. They really turned out cute. You could use the Monstera leaf placemat instead of these, but I really like the tropical nature of these. Don't these look so cute so far? Hey guys, if you're enjoying today's video so far, be sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, the next DIY is something that I've done in a previous video, but I wanted to show you how I did it because we're going to be using these. So these are Dollar Tree chargers. I picked up gold ones. It doesn't really matter. I thought gold would look nice under the burlap. You wouldn't really be able to tell. Probably any kind of neutral color would work. And I picked up just some cheap burlap from Walmart. I made these chargers a few years ago on my channel, so Dollar Tree did not sell burlap then. So you can totally use Dollar Tree burlap for this as well. So I just went ahead and cut out kind of just a rough circle, kind of larger than we need for each one of the charger trays. I'm going to show you how I put these together. I've been using these for years. They've really held up well. I have to kind of spot clean them if they do get any food on them. But if you seal them well enough, they seem to hold up pretty well. And I think they look so cute. I've used them for like coastal Thanksgiving tablescapes and stuff like that. And since we're using them in this video, I went back and found the footage of me putting these together so that I could show you exactly how I made them. So just using that same fabric, I just cut out 4 of the circles because we're going to do 4 chargers. The chargers are going to sit on top of the placemats that we just laid out. And it looks so fun and gives that coastal vibe to the luau theme. To attach it, we're just using regular matte Mod Podge. And I'm just going to go all over. I do get the charger fairly wet with it because, you know, attaching the fabric, you're going to need that to really seep into the fabric to attach it well. And I want to make sure that I get every surface of it covered with the Mod Podge and then simply lay this on. And, you know, we cut it larger than size so that once we get it all on here and dried, we can cut it down exactly how big we need it to be. So I just make sure that I smooth it out really well. I make sure that every part of it is glued down. And then I went over the top of it with more Mod Podge. Normally I wouldn't do this, but since we're going to be using it on the table and food might get on it, I thought this would be a good way to kind of seal it, make it easier to clean up, and I'm really surprised with how well these have held up. They have gotten food on them, and I was able to clean it up at least pretty good. So I just go over everything with my foam brush with more of that Mod Podge, and then start the drying process. There's only so much drying you can do with your heat gun with this. You kind of like need to let it sit, but all of that glue does dry fairly clear. Once it gets dry. I had used so much Mod Podge though, it didn't really want to dry with my heat gun, as you can see. But I wanted to get it dry enough that I could cut it around the edges, and I did let it sit for a little bit, and I think it is dry enough to cut. So I just flip it over now, and using some sharp scissors, I'm just going to cut it as close to the charger as I can, all the way around. And I repeated this process for the other 3 as well. And we have little custom burlap chargers. If you don't want to go to the work of covering one of your chargers with burlap, they also have the chargers at Dollar Tree right now that look like the wood, like the light kind of grayish wood ones. And that would actually look really good on a luau party table as well. Once I get it all cut off, you can kind of see, you know, what's not perfect, and I just go around and kind of trim that all off. Since it's Mod Podge down, the burlap's not going to fray or anything like that, and it should stay in place because we really used a lot of Mod Podge on that. So definitely need some more drying for it to dry clear, but this is how they look years later. I'm still using them. I think they're really pretty, and I think they're perfect for a luau party table. So let's go ahead and add these to the party table. This is what they look like laying on that lay. Isn't that so tropical? It gives me those Hawaii vibes. And I went ahead and did that on all 4 place settings. Now I'm going to add dishes and stuff like that to it as well. These are the plates that I found at Dollar Tree. They're actually real plates. You could use the plastic ones and they have lots of good options, but I think these look so pretty. And if you can get a real plate, why not? It's going to make it feel a little bit more elegant. These are like the turquoise blue with the brown around the edges, and I think that pop of blue against all the pink and yellow and green really adds to the table. You could also use the blue plastic ones they have at the Dollar Tree, or even the tropical ones with the toucan in the summer section. That would work well too. I just kind of wanted the simplicity of the blue. So I'm just going to go ahead and use real silverware since we're using real plates. I told you this was going to be kind of a high-end one indoor, but you could always use plastic silverware and, you know, of course, paper or plastic plates as well. For the napkins, I'm using these adorable pink flamingo napkins from the Dollar Tree. They're kind of subtle. They're not super bright and tropical, but I kind of like that. I think it's going to look really nice with like the leaves and everything that we have going on. And we have the pink flamingo already in our centerpiece. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay those at an angle like that on all of my place settings for the napkin. I think they don't really take away from all the other beautiful stuff happening on the table and kind of add to it as well. So let me give you a little look around for what we have done so far on this luau party table. I think it's coming together really nicely, and you can see how all those colors really kind of pop together. So fun, and I can't resist the addition of a little pink flamingo whenever I get the chance. For the cups, there's lots of options at Dollar Tree. I'm going to go with these little coconut cups. I think they're so cute with the flower on them, and you can put a straw inside. The only downside of these is they're not super large, but they have lots of other like tropical luau cups. They have like kind of like martini cups. They have daiquiri cups. They have all different kinds of tiki themed cups at the Dollar Tree. I got a full set of 4 of these, and then I just picked up some smoothie straws in some tropical colors, and I'm just going to use like 4 different colors in mine. I am going to have to go ahead and wash these out before we use them, but I kind of wanted to show you how I'm going to put these together. And they have little pink flowers on them with little yellow centers. And that is how it looks. Just a pop. I thought a smoothie straw would be great in there. It kind of goes with whatever you're drinking, and it's going to look really cute and tropical to add to the luau theme. So I rinsed those out. We added 4 cups on there, and we'll have to add beverages to them later. So this is what it looks like with all of the trimmings. I do want to add a few more touches to this, and we still have to add the chairs to the table. But as far as dinnerware, we have everything set. I love the fact that I used real plates. Even though they're from the Dollar Tree, they actually look like really nice stoneware. And I really love like all the leafy and flower textures going on here. Everything is from the Dollar Tree, super practical, and just looks so cute. And if you can find like a colored like glass where it would be great too, instead of using plasticware from the Dollar Tree. But all I could find were clear glassware at Dollar Tree. If I could have found something that was like colorful, like green or pink or yellow, I totally would have added those as well. But I think the coconuts are kind of cute too. My son was definitely a big fan of those. And so these are my dining room chairs. So I just went ahead and pushed those in there. As you can see, if you push your chairs in, you're not going to be able to see the grass skirt there. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and add grass skirts to my chair as well, because why not, right? So I picked up 2 of the child-size grass skirts. So these will be shorter. And I don't really need the whole width for a chair. I think half for each chair will be fine. So what I did was just about halfway through, I'm just going to go in there and snip this off. I will probably have to add more twine to one side because it's knotted off on the other, so I can't easily just push everything over. But I do push it over a little bit so that I can go ahead and tie off new twine. And that's just so that I can tie it onto my chair easily to decorate the back of my chair. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. I have half of the child-size skirt. My chair actually has little crossbars on it. So I'm actually going to tie it on the lowest one because the child-size skirt is, of course, shorter. And I want to be able to decorate the top of the chairs as well. I just tied mine off, the twine on each side, and it's a little skinnier than my chair, but I think it's definitely wide enough. And it gives you that grass skirt look that the rest of the table has that you're kind of missing there, because when you have the chair kind of pushed in like that, you can't really see it. And this is for a luau party, so I want to decorate everything, including the chairs. So I went ahead and did that on all 3 of the other chairs as well. And then I also wanted to add some leis. I thought about adding these to the chairs, but I only had 3 of them. This 3-pack of this beautiful like purple and yellow really reminded me of Hawaii. But I thought I could actually just put those on the table here on the sides of my centerpiece to kind of continue that as a runner all the way down, just by simply laying a lei on each side. And I love how that turned out. Now, I did want to add leis to the chair as well, though, and I actually ended up deciding to use these. These are the green leafy ones that are new this year that we used for the placemats. I think they're so lush and fun. These are going to be chair decor, but also you can wear them, It's up to you, but I'll be sure to include one on each chair, and I just kind of drape mine on the top. It's a little wider than my chair, so it won't just sit attached really well, but it will drape really nicely like that if I just drape it on the back of the chair. So I went ahead and did that on all of the chairs as well, and it really complements what we did decorating the table. So I think we have it all put together now. This is my luau party table. I hope you got lots of fun decorating ideas from this one. It's really fun. And remember, we do still have more luau DIYs coming right up. But these are all new luau DIYs. And I think they look so festive and fun. I'm glad I attached the little, put the little leis on the table there at the end. And you could kind of use those leis for decoration just about anywhere. I love how many different colors we have. We have the pinks, the yellows, the green. We even have some purple on the leis. But now it's time for the final reveal for all 38 of these summer DIYs that I've made so far here on my channel this year in 2024. I hope you got lots of fun crafting inspiration for summer and enjoyed today's video. Be sure to comment your favorite DIY in the comments below and enjoy the final reveal.
Side by side we sway there in all the colors. Summer love, lonesome dove, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love, stop giving back. Honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that. Talk to me and tell me all that you've seen, all the colors. Summer love, memories washed in every shade of green and all the colors. Summer love. Turquoise blue, losing track of time with you. Another peach pie sunset view, sleeping in the afternoon. No place to be and nothing to That's sure something I could use. A cure for the air-conditioned blues. Could use some too. colors. Summer love. Lonesome dove folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love. Remember when we were getting nowhere fast, when the garden won't stop giving back. Honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that. Talk to me and tell me all that you've seen in all the colors. Summer love. Memories washed in every shade of green in all the colors. Summer love. Remember the lazy river day canoe, bathing in the turquoise blue, losing track of time with you. Another peach pie sunset view, sleeping in the afternoon. No place to be and nothing to prove. That's sure something I could use. A cure for the air conditioned blues. Could use some too. A little bit of summer open air. Side by side we sway there in all the colors. Summer love. Lonesome dove folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this crafting marathon today. And I also want to give a huge thank you to all of my Crafty Beach Bum members for supporting my channel here on YouTube. Thanks so much to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Nancy Wunner, Janae Farrington, Julie Miller, Pamelia Wren, Maria Grace, Donna Schreiner, Sandy C., Ariana's Mama, Live Another Day, Tracy Wooldridge, Marin Christensen, Debbie Middleton, Vicki Connors, and Adrienne Brolt. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. If you'd like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video. It is $4.99 a month. You can cancel anytime, and you're going to get early ad-free access to my videos here on YouTube. Would you like more crafting DIYs? Crafty Beach has you covered. Check out this video right here. And until next time, happy crafting and happy summer.